This is 9.1, Part 1. You'll see here that I have a few vocabulary words on the left side of the screen. So one thing that you could do to practice these is go back and see the beginning of the screen before I write anything on it and just quiz yourself using that opening screen. That can help you quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and pull a color down here. We'll use green today. Okay, this is a coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is made up of two number lines that meet at right angles. We also call that intersecting. Just like when you are in the car with your mom and dad and they come up to an intersection, that usually is where two roads are crossing one another. And that's happening here on the coordinate plane. So we have what we call the x-axis, here, that's going to be the horizontal line here. And you can see it has an X right there to show you that that is the x-axis. Then you have the y-axis. That's going to be this vertical line. And you can see that it has a little y there. Now sometimes you won't see the X and the Y. Sometimes they won't be on a graph that you're given. So you have to memorize that, the x-axis and the y-axis. Now the next thing you have is quadrants. Now the reason we talk about quadrants is we want a very easy way to talk about where we are on the graph. And so we start here with quadrant 1. Quadrant 1 is on the top right hand part. So this is also where you have both the y and the x being positive. So if we did what we call an ordered pair, which is down here, let's say we were looking for the ordered pair 3, 2. That tells us what the x is and then what the y is. So we go on the number line over here all the way to the 3. That's our first number. And then we go up from the 3 till we get to the 2 on the y. That's this part right here. And so this right here is 3, 2. This point right here on the line. And you can see we went over to the 3 and then we went up to the 2. Now sometimes girls and boys get this wrong and they'll go up 3 and then over 2. But we always walk over to a ladder before we climb up the ladder. So we go over and then up. So that is in quadrant 1. Let's find out what happens if we go to quadrant 2. Well, let's take these same numbers and let's make the 3 a negative 3. So negative 3, we're going to go, remember we go over first to the negative 3 on the number line, and we go up to, well, that's going to be up to there. Now you can do this one of two ways. You can either go up 3 and then up to right where you are, or you can go over 3, up 2, and you can kind of go, okay, here's where they meet, right there, and then put a dot there. So you can either go over on the x and then just go up from the x, or you can go over on the x, go up on the y, and then find where they meet. Either one will work for you. You just need to be consistent. Okay, that's the second quadrant. The third quadrant is down here. So let's say we make both of these numbers negative. Negative 3, negative 2. Let's find out what happens. So I'm going to go over 3, and now I'm going to go to the y. I'm going to go down 2 because it's a negative 2. Oh, there I am. Over 3 to the negative and down 2 to the negative puts you right here. And then I'm going to say, well, what would happen if I have a positive 3 and then a negative 2? So I have a positive x and a negative y. So again, I'm going to go over 3 on my number line, and then I'm going to go down 2 on my number line. And that is going to put me right here. Let's try a few more. Let's do it the opposite way. I'm going to go ahead and put a dot on here, a coordinate. Let's put one right here. And you need to find what the coordinates are. So you have to go over before you can go up. So if I go over on the x-axis, all the way over to here, oh, that's a 5. So my first coordinate is 5. And then I find my y. Oh, that's right across from that 3 there. So that's 5, 3. Let's try another one. Let's try one up here. So I go over on my x-axis. Oh, it's up from 3. And now I go over to my y-axis. Oh, that is a 5. Do you see that 5, 3 is quite a bit different than 3, 5? Now the other way you can remember this is that you're going in alphabetical order. You go X and then you go Y. So X is first and Y is second. The other way I think about it is that this Y is very tall. It's much taller than the X. Because it's tall, it goes up and down. So I remember that Y is the axis that goes up and down. And X is the axis that goes across. So I'm going to give you a couple more points and have you see if you can find them. Okay, let's try this one right here. See if you can figure that one out. Well, you need to find where it is on the x-axis. Well, that's a -4. And then you need to find where it is on the y-axis. Well, that is a 1. Let's try a couple more. How about right there? Well, I try the x-axis first. Oh, that's right down from that -2. And then I try the y-axis. Oh, that's also -2. Okay, what if I have this one? 0, 3. Well, my x is going to be at 0. I'm not moving off the 0. And then I'm going to go up my y to here. That is 0, 3. How about this dot right over here on the x-axis? Well, I go to the x-axis, and that is on -5. Now, do I need to go up or down on the y-axis? I don't. It's just at 0. So that would be -5, 0. Okay, here's one more. Look at the very center. That is also called the origin. What is that going to be? Well, it's going to be 0 on the x-axis and 0 on the y-axis. So that is 0, 0.